we welcome David Heurtel. You know him as a former Quebec Liberal cabinet minister and also general, all-round, well-informed guy. By the way, this segment is brought to you by Guaranteed Industries. Don't sweat it this summer. Get a Can-Air AC system from Guaranteed Industries and enjoy big Hydro-Quebec rebates. Call Guaranteed Industries at 514-342-3400, serving you since 1957. Hello, David Heurtel.
Hello, Trudie Mason. I'm going to put that on my business card now. Well-informed guy. I think that's great. That's just perfect.
It's just you're one of these Renaissance men. You know a lot about a lot.
Oh, so. Thank you. That means a lot coming from a very well-informed woman, as you are.
You are too kind. All right. Now that we're over the
small talk.
Let's
get to business.
Yeah, let's talk about Prime Minister Mark Carney choosing not to participate in the debate tonight on Parliament Hill about Canada's approach to the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. Are you reading anything into the fact he will not be there?
No, I don't think so. I'm not reading anything into it. I think, I think most Canadians aren't going to be tuned in tonight on the parliamentary channel, trying to watch this. I think, I understand why it's happening, but I think most Canadians understand that, like the rest of the world, we are reacting to a war that was completely chosen by Donald Trump, and that, as the Prime Minister has said very clearly during his trip abroad, we are taking the world as it is, and we have to react and adapt to the situation. I think what's going to be very important, though, and I think the key here politically in the upcoming days and weeks, even though the president seems to be saying he's going to hold a news conference apparently within minutes now saying that basically the war is almost over, permit me to doubt that, but beyond all the posturing and what's actually going on the ground, the direct impact for Quebecers and Canadians is the pocketbook. The liter of gas is up. That's one of the leading stories we just heard on the news. It's going to have an impact on inflation. It's going to have a direct impact on all our pocketbooks. So how is Mark Carney and the Liberal government going to react to that? Because it adds to the uncertainty. Now, while he's very popular right now, it's not something that you can solve by just going around the world and making trade deals with everybody. There's going to have to be some sort of reaction if the pain endures. And so that's going to be the real key here politically for Mark Carney.
Also, on the federal scene, we have the announcement about the by-elections, including Terrebonne, which was a real story.
Wow.
in so many ways. So that's going to be interesting to shake out. Scarborough, Southwest, University, Rosedale, both Toronto area, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Formerly held by two senior Liberal cabinet ministers, Chrystia Freeland and Bill Blair. Those seats are not in jeopardy. The Liberals are going to cruise to victory in those two seats. Those aren't in question. What's interesting, of course, is that the way things have shook out in this is that we have three by-elections, 3 seats that are open, and the Liberals are 3 seats away from a majority. So what is very interesting here is that while the Terrebonne seat was won by only one vote, and that was overturned by the Supreme Court by the Liberals. Now, the idea here is that the Liberals are going to put all their resources. It's not like in a general election where resources have to be spread out. The full Liberal machine is going to be out there in Terrebonne. You're going to see Carney's already been in the riding. He's going to come back, I'm sure. Sure, you're going to see, people, the star Quebec ministers like Mélanie Joly or François-Philippe Champagne come in and be very, very present on the ground. So it's going to be an interesting test. Again, if it's a big if if inflation, the price of oil, and things get a bit out of control, it could hurt the Liberals. But at the same time, we're at a point where I don't even remember, Trudie, the Liberals in Quebec are at 48%, and the Bloc is at 25%. That's last week's Léger. And so it's going to be very interesting to see if the Bloc and the PQ's forces are going to be mobilized, because in a by-election, it's all about turnout of your core support. And with sovereignty at, barely 30% support, and with people clearly saying, we don't want to hear about a referendum, I don't know what Yves-François Blanchet is going to be talking about on the hustings and so during this campaign. So it's going to be very interesting to see, because Liberals are going to be very well motivated by saying to people in Terrebonne, look, do you want to literally be with the party that's going to be in power, that's going to have a majority government, that's going to be able to help you concretely, or do you want to go back to the Bloc and go back to be mired in opposition? So I think the interesting piece here is if inflation, if the price of gas keeps going up, and Mark Carney stumbles on that could hurt the Liberals. But if not, the Liberals definitely have a pathway to hit the Bloc very hard here.
Let's turn our attention to the municipal scene for a moment, because I think a lot of people are shaking their heads over that story coming out of Laval, where
oh my goodness,
the city has been told by the federal tax people that it has to fork over $1 million so that Gilles Vaillancourt, former corrupt mayor, can cover the taxes he owes on money that he basically stole from the public through his corruption. This to me makes absolutely no sense from a tax perspective or a common sense perspective.
Okay, so not to get too mired in technicalities, Trudie, it would take a lot of time, but strictly legally speaking, even ill-gotten gains, you have to pay taxes on them, believe it or not. And so from a legal standpoint, the federal government's position is correct. And by the way, so Vaillancourt's ill-gotten gains, you have to pay taxes on them. Now, Vaillancourt paid them back, reimbursed them back to the city of Laval. And so the reasoning is, well, the tax man still needs to collect. Now, the interesting angle here is that on the provincial side, the same basic rules applied here, and there is a way on the provincial side for the government to renounce. And so the minister of finance can renounce, and that's what happened on the provincial side. Quebec City said, you know what, keep the money and use the money instead, the best way you want, City of Laval. So here you have the same out for the federal government. The Minister of Finance, so François-Philippe Champagne, could tell the City of Laval, you know what, yes, it is owed, we'll renounce, and you just keep the money. So, because this is indeed completely absurd.
But will he, in your view?
I think if you have a by-election in Terrebonne, which is basically almost across the river from Laval, I think you're going to want to take away any possible irritant. And so I'll be very interested to see if François-Philippe Champagne doesn't make a statement in the coming days and say, you know what, the money, because Stéphane Boyer, the mayor of Laval, has used already, all this money has been used for programs to help the city in different, social aspects of development. And so why not keep this money? It's tax money, one way or the other. So why not leave it in the pocket of the municipality instead of taking it from the municipality to the federal government? So I hope François-Philippe Champagne will move on this very quickly, as the Quebec government did.
I hadn't considered the by-election angle. I think that's an interesting twist, that this would be a good thing to announce during
It's going to make a lot of positive noise in the region and make the government look sensible. Look, there's some local issues in Terrebonne. The big, the train route, projected train route is going to go through there. There's some issues about that. So, also you have to remember politics are still local. So we can talk about Iran till the cows come home, but at the same time, these types of issues can hurt a government if they're perceived and not understood by average voters.
David Heurtel, thanks very much.
All right, take care, Trudie.
All righty.
iHeartRadio is throwing it back.
2010s, the decade.
To the days of huge hits and unforgettable anthems. A non-stop stream of the biggest and best.
Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy, Gaga, The Weeknd,
and more. All your decade-defining favorites, all in one place.
Hi, it's Katy Perry.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
This is Kesha.
Find 2010's The Decade on the free iHeartRadio app. Preset the station so it's always one tap away.